We're going to do some pricking out, which is the transfer of seedlings from a seed tray into a more permanent single pot. This particular tray is Cosmos Afternoon White, so this is a pretty white flower which we use in bouquets. You can see that just after 9 days these have grown to this height. You'd say perhaps they're a little bit leggy, a little bit long stems. Have been under light, and I think Cosmos does tend to grow very quickly like this. So I think these are in pretty good health actually. If you're growing your own seeds in seed trays, and perhaps you haven't got artificial light, so we tend to grow them perhaps on the windowsill or something, because they do need warmth. If there's not enough light, you will find that the seedlings grow more quickly, and the stems are thin and scraggly. We call that etiolation, and it means that the seedling is probably savable in many cases, and I'll show you how you can do that if some of your seedlings are etiolated. We grow Cosmos in succession, which means that probably once a month we'll plant up some more seedlings and get them going, so that we have a continuous supply of flowers for our customers. Cosmos is a half-hardy annual. That means that the seedlings cannot cope with frost, so that however you're going to do it, you must protect them from even one night of frost will kill the seedlings. In Mexico, which is where this plant originates, it grows as a perennial, because well, there must be no frost in Mexico, so that the plant will grow year after year after year. In this country, because they are half-hardy, because they are frost sensitive, we grow them as an annual. Most people would grow this as an annual. Annuals are plants which grow and germinate and grow and flower and then die, all in one season. The principle of doing pricking out, there are a few things that you have to know. None of them are difficult. Handling a seedling should always be done from a leaf, so gently hold a leaf. Never hold the stem, which would damage the stem. First thing is to make some holes in your medium. Now there's this little thing called a dibber, which is traditionally used to do that. As so. Works fine. I usually use, well, another implement, so this is a teaspoon. I find a little bit better because you can shape the hole better. We're making quite large holes, and they're deep, which I'll show you why we're making them so deep in this particular case anyway. So let's do our first transplant. You're never quite sure what you're going to get here, because the roots can be very, very long indeed, or they can be not so. The idea is to remove your seedling with as little disturbance as possible, holding onto the leaf. Okay, we can just see the roots there. I think you can see them. Showing you it, and I've just damaged things a little bit. So we can see here now the hole's not big enough to go in without breaking some of that soil away from the plant, and I don't want to do that. Okay, that's our first. What I wanted to do is to bury the seedling as deep as possible, right up to the where the leaves begin would be fine. In this case, just because I think the hole wasn't deep enough, perhaps it didn't give me the option of going as deep as I would have liked. See how well we do at the next one. You can see how much plant material there is here after only 9 days. So a lot of the soil's fallen away, and you can get a good view there of the structure and the roots. So we're going to get it in as far as we can. That's down to the bottom of the pot. Close the soil around it, so there should be no air gaps. Can actually just fill with a bit of extra medium there. Job's done. This one's a bit small. Might leave it. We're going to leave this tray. We're going to put the tray back on the heating mat to allow any more seeds that are yet to germinate to come through. So I'm going underneath the structure, the root structure there, to give it as much, to get as much of the root structure out and cause as little damage as possible. Once again, we need a really deep hole. Sort of lay it in rather than push it in, as little trauma as possible. Close the soil around it. Fill with a bit extra. Got to make your own judgment about how much sort of disturbance you want to make. Got a very long root there coming, which I had to sort of chase down. Again, widen our hole right down to the bottom, so the root will curl back on itself as such. That's okay. Better it didn't, but it's okay. So there we are. I'll continue on now and do the rest of these. They're actually quite quick once you get going. Having got the seedlings into the pots, I'll then put them into water from below. I'm going to put the tray back to allow any more to come through. There's three already on the way there. So here are our seedlings. They've been soaked for about half an hour. Most of them are down to the depth that I'd like. A couple of them not quite, like this one. This one not quite as deep as I would have liked. They'll now go onto the non-heated area, as much light as they can get at this stage, but they need a cooler soil. It's the end of February here, and running temperature here in the propagation room is around about 12-13 degrees. That's great, it's fine. So these little guys will just sit under the light now and grow slowly, probably ready for transplant in about 6 weeks' time. Some other seedlings on the go. There's Dorcas carota, Amimajus. There's a limonium. Once they've had a chance under the lights here in the propagation room, there should be enough light outside then, say middle of March or so, to get them out into the polytunnel.